Hey everybody, it's Beth Rolls. Welcome to the first episode of my new podcast. I haven't even decided on a name yet. I wanted to start tonight, and then, of course, my daughter had a hard time getting to sleep. And, of course, because everything is about me, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to get this girl to sleep? Kicking myself for encouraging her to take a nap earlier. And then, of course, realizing how totally unprepared I am tonight. It just seemed like a good night to get started. But of course, other than planning the topic that I wanted to talk about, I didn't get much further than that, such as the name of the podcast. So maybe you guys could help me out and we could figure out a name, or else by the time you listen to this, perhaps I've already found one. So, I want to make this show something that helps women who want to deeply understand themselves so that they can create real transformation in all areas of their lives. And I want to focus on a different relationship each month. I wanted to get started in April, but didn't work out with the quarantine. It's just been hard. I haven't had the chance to book the guests that I wanted to book. But for May, we're going to be talking about what I do now. I feel like I do a lot of things, but one of the things that I help women do is launch an online business. So this month I want to talk about branding, messaging, creating what people need, building authority, and a little bit of leadership. And I've actually just written a book on this called Putting You in Business, and I can't wait to get that published. So I'm going to pull from that for some inspiration for tonight since I didn't take notes and get ready for this, but hopefully we're just going to see how this goes. It's late at night. I don't have my gold glitter I wanted to throw in the air, and I don't have my drink that I wanted to enjoy, but we're going to have some fun, and I'm going to help you tonight to understand how to get clear on what you do. So this is something that is a struggle for everyone who gets into, who goes from a corporate position as a stellar employee and wants to be an entrepreneur, has probably wanted to be one their entire lives, and then finally takes a leap, is brave enough to leave that security of the corporate job behind and go into business on their own, or people who suddenly find themselves, maybe not suddenly, I'm married to a rich guy, but who find themselves in a position where they have the freedom now to start an online business, or maybe because of COVID-19, they kind of need to pivot and move to an online model for their business. Building a business online is fantastic because you can continuously adapt. If you have a storefront and you get all registered and fill your store with items, and have this brick and mortar business, it's so hard to say, one day after you've been doing it a while and you realize that you don't really like selling somebody else's product as much as you like making custom products for people, it's harder to change that up in a brick and mortar store. And online, you have this beautiful opportunity where you can continuously grow your business in a way that suits you. So you can make changes all the time. And there's argument that it's not the best thing, but I believe that you always attract people who are very similar to you. And there are always going to be people who want to solve the problems that you have personally solved, or that you have a bunch of training and expertise on solving, so you can help somebody with them. So, for example, I can help people with conscious parenting and with saving their marriage, because those are two things that I've resolved for myself. I also have a bunch of training on marketing and business. I'm in school right now, getting a degree in marketing, have a ton certifications, copywriting courses under my belt, and I've been putting all this to work in my own business. So when people are attracted to somebody who's similar to them, who's solved the problems that they want to solve, it really doesn't matter if your business, in my opinion anyway, it doesn't matter if your business changes and pivots and twists and turns, because your people are likely to follow that until such time that they feel like that you have nothing more to really help them with. You always want to be a couple steps, maybe a couple years ahead of your people. And if there's ever a time where they surpass you, then they're going to move on to the next person. And that's fine. You want them to. Or maybe they've heard your message the way you share it enough times that they really need to go to somebody else and hear it in a different way for it to really click and for them to fully integrate something. And when you think about change anyway, we go through a long process. We observe the outside world, we read books, we hear from experts, we take classes. But until we actually integrate the change, integrate what we learn, it doesn't really stick, right? Like we have to put it into practice. I'm reading a book right now called Why We Sleep. I don't let me see if I can find the author's name while I'm talking, but he had a very interesting fact in here that I didn't know about. And he said, it's by Matthew Walker, PhD, Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams. It's actually a fabulous book. It's a little bit of a dry read. I'm at 50% right now on my Kindle, but it is just full of really, really good information. And one of the things he said was that in order to learn a physical skill, and I'm trying to remember what I read. I really should have saved the quote for this. In order to actually learn a physical skill, you have to learn it and then sleep on it for your body to be able to do it. He gave the example of like a pianist, person that plays the piano, who was working on this really challenging piece of music. And he couldn't do it, and was like determined, just messed up in the same spot every single time. And then he went to sleep. And when he woke up, he was able to do it just like he'd always been able to. And I can't remember all the scientific supporting evidence for this, and so to get better at a physical thing, you actually have to like learn it, practice it, and then sleep on it. It's not something that you can just will yourself to do better. He said, like, you can't read books or imagine how to make it work. You actually just have to go do it and then sleep and do it and sleep and do it and sleep. That's how you get better. That's like an article I wrote recently called Building a Business Takes Balls, referring to my husband, who is a pro long drive golfer, and thinking, comparing my progress as a golfer to him, who has hit thousands upon probably thousands of balls. I just can't compare to that because I have maybe, I don't know, like 3 total hours of experience golfing. There is no way that I could be as good as he is. And as I was younger, this used to really frustrate me if I couldn't just get that kind of thing right away, because I was used to being a pretty smart kid and I could learn things really fast and solve problems that way. But sports and anything to do with my body was always harder. I couldn't just do it, and now I understand why. You just have to do it over and over again. And I feel like, sorry, long story to get back to this point. I feel like business is the same way, that we have to actually get out there and take action. And of course, the action we take could be just showing up on a video or writing a blog or sending emails. But the actual act that we do over and over again is what makes us better. And it also brings us clarity. So, to answer the question, how do you get clear on what you do? You're also going to have to take some action. But in my book, Putting You in Business, I've given you a lot. Somebody told me too much. A lot of different exercises that you can do to really get clear on what it is that you want to do, how you can create so much value for somebody that they want to give you money in exchange for that value. And one of the things that I share in the book is that you need to follow your racing heart. I think it's the second chapter in the book. So at first, when we start off in business, we think that we need to become what our customers need, or we need to project a certain image that makes them like us. Not everybody, of course, but I think a lot of people get into this trap that, especially when they're first starting out, that they're trying to just get that approval, get people to like them. Oh, how do I, what do I need to tweak today for people to like me? What do I need to post today that people will like? And it can be really hard if you're kind of stuck in that mindset and you're posting content and you hear nothing. You could hear nothing because Facebook could have chosen not to show what you just posted to pretty much anybody, and especially not to the right people for it. But you also could get nothing because you tried so hard to create something that you thought they would like or engage with, that they can sense that. And it's not anything that to them is valuable because they couldn't connect with you in some way. So we can talk about that more on another lovely episode. But today, I want you to just start to think about your past. So when you're trying to figure out what you do, I feel like people get caught up in a niche or a skill that they have learned. For example, I'm a certified conscious parenting coach. So when I started out, I was really stuck in the idea that I was a conscious parenting coach. And it was hard for me to articulate what result I was creating for people, because it seemed, I knew all these massive layers to it. And what I went through, and I went through a big transformation, and I knew it was amazing for me, but it was so hard to say in a succinct way, yes, yeah, conscious parenting helps you overcome anxiety as a parent by silencing that inner critical voice so that you can take action and trust your intuition as a parent. It was hard to distill it down into something that short. I couldn't do it in the beginning. And looking at it from only the perspective of being a conscious parenting coach, um, made me think that I had to do like this one thing, and that I couldn't look at my overall history and skills and what I was good at and what made my heart race. Of course, conscious parenting does light me up because I'm very passionate about it. But what I'm talking about here is, what are your superpowers? What are your skills? What kind of roles have you taken on already in your life that you do over and over again? Because in conscious parenting and conscious relationships, we look at patterns, and we realize we focus on those patterns that are repeating that we don't want. But if you look at the patterns that repeat, that are good situations where you were excited and where you were happy about what you were doing and the role you were playing, or where you offered to help somebody before they even asked, those are, my friend Deb Blum likes to call them the trailheads. They're the markers, or they're your GPS. They're they're like the big flashing sign. Hey, this is it. This is what you're good at. So when I took a look at those things, there were a few things that I noticed I did over and over. One of them is that I like to research the absolute best way to do things, or the best products, or the best whatever, and compile them into a single place so that it's easy for other people to access the best of everything. I feel like I've done this over and over in my life, but I did it for one of the very first home building companies that I built websites for. And then I did it for the time I was dating a man who was building an ultralight aircraft. So I did it for all the people that were building the same kind of ultralight aircraft, because I felt that it was annoying to go search all over for the best thing and wonder what to do and I didn't like to, so this is probably my Enneagram type 5 coming out, but I didn't like to feel incompetent and like, I just didn't like that sense of not knowing the best way to do things. So now what I do, first I did it with conscious parenting when I created the Family Alchemist. My goal there was to, again, assemble the best information, the best coaches, the best resources for parents to be able to help their families grow and become closer and more loving. And then now I do it with marketing. I have an entire marketing class. I'm always gathering the best information, constantly reading. So this is something that I'm good at. And I needed to translate that into part of my business. And it's something that I enjoy doing. So this is part of my business. This is just what I do. And I know when I am looking for new problems to solve for people and ways to monetize my talent, that's one of the things I look at. So I want you to go back and think about the different jobs that you've had. And I really want you to write them all down and think about what were those moments in each job where you just lit up, where you were excited about what you were doing. I was an RF engineer for 13 years before I left to be a conscious parenting coach. And I did a lot of things and I had a lot of really good days. I mean, I was promoted twice in 1 year. I got to go on some really fun vacations for my performance. I was one of the only female engineers in a very masculine industry. I have a lot of um, things that I can be delighted in, but one of my favorite things that I didn't even do it to completion, but I was excited about it at the time, was I decided that our team needed our own website. So I started to build us a website to put all the best information in one place and have this nice launch pad for the team members. I supervised a team of drive testers. Those are the people who drive around and make sure your phone does not drop its call. I wanted them to have this like launch pad to just make their work and my work easier. So again, out of all those achievements, that was something I liked. So there again, you can see the pattern. When I think back to when I was probably, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, I used to sit in the tub and hold up the shampoo bottle and sell the shampoo to the mirror. I used to, there was one show with, what's her, I think her name's Helen Hunt. I can't think of the name of it now, but she was like a big executive at a advertising agency. And I was like, oh my God, I could do that. That sounds perfect. I get to do art. I get to think about what people really want in psychology and then help these brands sell their product. So, of course, now I'm in marketing and I love it. It's been a passion of mine my whole life. Back to the shampoo bottles, and I didn't even realize it. Another thing with the, kind of along that same line is that I've always tried to help other people be successful. And for a while, when I was doing the conscious parenting work where you look at patterns and deconstruct things, I was like, oh, this is a problem. I just wasn't confident in myself enough to go make myself successful. But I actually don't think that's it. I actually think that this is one of the things I do really well is I can look at somebody, I can see what I call their soul truth. I can feel what's authentic for them. Sometimes right away, sometimes I have to get to know them a little bit more and feel into what I know is not authentic for them. But usually intuitively, I can get a hit of, wow, this person has some brilliance and they need to be supported in offering this gift to the world. And I want to support them. The problem was for a long time, I did this for people who weren't even, number one, they weren't asking for it. Number two, they weren't ready for it. So it's a different ballgame now to actually have people hire me and say, yes, make me successful, help me sell this amazing gift that I have, help me be more of myself in the world. Help me understand myself so that I can go offer this to the world. And I love doing that work. Of course, then I've had to work through getting frustrated when I do see their soul truth and they just aren't ready yet. They just are not ready to go out and offer it. Because there are so many things, though, that hold us back from offering it. And if you think right now about what you're amazing at, what you can see as that repeating pattern back throughout your whole lifetime, it's it's so much easier to think that you can just stay safe where you are and not be hurt by offering a gift. Because I think we're told so much when we're little sometimes that we don't really have a gift. And we just need to comply and fall in line to be accepted. So then why on earth would we ever go out and say, hey, world, come here, I can help you? So it's really important. And I'm actually not emotional right now. I'm just losing my voice. Excuse me. I know a really great voice coach who just sent me an email today. I'm going to have to give her a call. In fact, I'm going to give her a shout out if I can find her name. I think it's Brienne Hennessy. Brienne, I'm coming for you. What is her name? I don't see it now, but she has I think her business is called Your Vocal Vitality. So I need to go have a chat with her. But it is kind of emotional too, because if you think about it, so one of the metaphors that I use in my book is that your business is like a gift, and everything that you create, all the content that you create is a gift, and you're just putting it out there. You're offering it to people, and whether they actually use it is up to them. If you think about giving your mom a gift, there's a chance she'll love it and use it all the time. If you really thought about who she is and what she needs, she's probably going to use it all the time, right? But if you bought it or got it or made it or whatever, thinking about how it would make her think about you, and then it was more of an ego thing, and then it probably won't be as useful and she probably won't use it. So your business is the same way. To figure out what you really want to do and how you can make money with it, you need to look backwards, look at your patterns, see what lights you up, follow your racing heart, and then you need to work on offering the gift, which we will talk more about next time. All right, I'm going to go have some hot tea or something, call this lady right now, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for listening. You can find me on bethrolls.com pretty soon on a new website just for the book launch. Can't wait to hear from you. Let me know this had anything good for you in the comments, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.